The year was 2075, and Earth's skies were buzzing with the promise of interstellar discovery. Inside the glass-walled laboratory of the Mars Exploration Institute, Dr. Maya Thorne adjusted her focus on the nano-imaging console. Before her lay a piece of the enigmatic Martian meteorite, Black Beauty, encased in a pristine containment field. It was no larger than a fist, yet it held secrets spanning billions of years. "Let's see what you've got for me," Maya muttered, her voice blending with the hum of the equipment. She slid the zircon sample, extracted from the meteorite, under the scanning electron microscope. The screen flickered to life, revealing the crystal's intricate growth patterns. Lines and bands danced across the display, each one a silent testament to the fiery and aqueous forces that had shaped the stone. Maya's fingers hovered over the controls, her mind racing. Iron, aluminum, sodium, classic markers of hydrothermal activity, she murmured, noting the elemental composition. But there was something unusual, an arrangement of lines and inclusions that didn't seem random. Could this be deliberate? She thought, her heart skipping a beat. She activated the atom probe tomography. The advanced imaging revealed layers of nanoscale inclusions forming geometric shapes. To the untrained eye, it could be dismissed as natural mineral zoning. To Maya, who had spent years studying planetary geology, it resembled an encrypted pattern, a language perhaps. Her breath quickened. "You're not just a rock," she whispered. The lab door hissed open, and Maya's assistant, Ravi Patel, stepped in. "Found something?" he asked, holding a mug of steaming chai. You could say that. Maya gestured at the screen. "Look here." Ravi leaned in, squinting at the display. "That's not normal, is it?" "Not at all," Maya replied. "It's almost as if these patterns are trying to communicate." "You think it's life? Or, well, was life?" Ravi asked, his tone a mix of curiosity and disbelief. "I don't know yet, but whatever this is, it changes everything." Maya's gaze didn't waver from the screen. For the first time in her career, she felt the gravity of her discovery, not just as a scientist, but as a human being reaching out to the stars. As the evening deepened, Maya continued her analysis, feeding data into complex algorithms designed to decode potential extraterrestrial signals. With each new result, her excitement grew. Could these patterns be remnants of an ancient Martian biosphere? A record left behind by a civilization lost to time? The meteorite fragment seemed to pulse under the lab lights, as though it held its breath, waiting to tell its story. Maya leaned back in her chair, her eyes fixed on the swirling data projected before her. The zircon's nanoscale patterns were no mere geological anomaly. They told a story. Layer by layer, she unraveled evidence of hydrothermal systems that once thrived beneath Mars' ancient crust. Her analysis confirmed high-temperature water interactions, teeming with elements like iron, aluminum, and sodium, markers of a dynamic and potentially life-supporting environment. "Hydrothermal vents," she muttered, "just like Earth's deep-sea vents. But on Mars." The realization sent a thrill through her. On Earth, such vents were cradles of life, harboring thriving ecosystems in the abyss. If Mars had similar systems billions of years ago, could it have nurtured life too? Ravi returned to the lab, his face lit with curiosity. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Maybe I have," Maya replied, showing him the latest spectral analysis. "These water-rich fluids and elemental patterns are unmistakable. This zircon lived in a hydrothermal paradise." "That's incredible," Ravi said, leaning closer. "But what does it mean? Life?" "Possibly, or at least the conditions for it." Maya's voice trembled with excitement. But there's more. Look at this. She pointed to the geometric inclusions, now magnified and color-coded by the imaging software. The structures pulsed with an eerie symmetry, almost like a rhythm. The sensation sent a shiver down Maya's spine. What if it's not just evidence, she whispered. What if it's a message? That night, Maya fell into an uneasy sleep at her workstation. Her thoughts tangled in the implications of her discovery. The dream came swiftly, vivid and alien. She stood on the edge of a crimson sea, its waves glistening under twin suns. The air shimmered with life, a kaleidoscope of strange, bioluminescent organisms that danced like whispers of light. She waded into the warm waters, feeling their weightless embrace. Beneath the surface, a sprawling ecosystem thrived. Tubular structures swayed like coral forests, and translucent creatures darted between them, their forms both mesmerizing and unsettling. The water carried a sound, a low, rhythmic hum, like a heartbeat. Maya reached out to touch one of the glowing organisms. The moment her fingers brushed its surface, the hum grew louder, reverberating in her chest. The vision shifted. The crimson sea darkened, the light fading. A sudden coldness gripped her as the world around her collapsed into silence. Maya jolted awake, her heart racing. The lab was quiet, bathed in the pale glow of the equipment. She stared at the zircon sample, its presence somehow heavier, as if it had witnessed her dream. "What's happening to me?" she whispered, running a trembling hand through her hair. The dream wasn't a mere trick of her subconscious. It felt real, too real. She reached for her notebook, scribbling down every detail before it faded. Red waters, twin suns, humming light. The zircon's strange resonance was more than just geological. It was alive with memory. Or maybe something deeper. She wasn't sure whether to feel exhilarated or terrified. As the lab lights flickered, Maya made a decision. The next step was clear. She would decode the zircon's message, even if it meant uncovering truths humanity wasn't ready to face. The spacecraft Aurora Prime hummed with life as it approached the red sphere of Mars. Maya sat strapped in her chair, staring at the planet through the observation window. It loomed larger with every passing moment, a rust-colored sentinel guarding secrets buried in time. Her breath caught in her throat. This wasn't just another research mission. This was her chance to connect with the echoes of an ancient world. "Maya, you good?" called Commander Elena Park, a tall, no-nonsense woman whose leadership had kept the crew on track during the 6-month journey. Maya nodded, forcing a smile. "Never better." Elena raised an eyebrow but didn't press. The commander was used to her team's quirks. Maya's obsession with the Black Beauty meteorite was no secret, but as long as it didn't compromise the mission, Elena let her be. The rest of the crew buzzed with activity. Ravi Patel, Maya's trusted assistant, was hunched over the geological scanners, while tech specialist Quinn Alvarez calibrated the drones for the surface expedition. Dr. Hana Okabe, a biologist with an unshakable optimism, bounced between stations, double-checking the sampling protocols. "All right, team," Elena announced. "We're about to enter Mars orbit, prep for descent, and remember, this isn't just a dig, it's history." The descent was rough. Dust storms lashed at the Aurora Prime as it navigated toward the targeted landing site, an ancient canyon system believed to hold traces of the hydrothermal region Maya had identified from the zircon's data. When the thrusters fired and the ship touched down, a cheer erupted among the crew. Maya, however, remained silent, her gaze fixed on the barren expanse visible through the ship's external cameras. "We're here," she whispered. more to herself than anyone else. The first step onto the Martian surface was surreal. Maya's boots sank slightly into the red soil as she scanned the horizon. Jagged cliffs loomed in the distance, their edges softened by millennia of erosion. The air was thin, unbreathable, but her helmet's filtration system worked seamlessly. Ravi's voice crackled over the comms. "Check this out, Maya. The drones are picking up thermal anomalies, exactly where you predicted." "Hydrothermal vents?" she asked, her pulse quickening. "Could be," Ravi replied, "but we won't know until we dig." The crew worked in unison, setting up a mobile lab near the anomaly site. Maya barely noticed the Martian chill as she supervised the excavation. Her mind was consumed by the zircon's patterns and the dreams they had inspired. Could this site be the source of the crimson waters she had envisioned? Hours passed as the robotic diggers unearthed layer after layer of ancient rock. Finally, the first samples were retrieved. Maya held her breath as she examined the core drill. Embedded within the sediment were signs of mineral deposits, consistent with long-lost hydrothermal activity. "This is it," she said, her voice trembling. "We found it." But the moment of triumph was short-lived. The ground beneath them shuddered faintly, a ripple of seismic activity that sent a chill through the team. "Commander," Quinn called out, checking the monitors. "We're getting unusual readings from the subsurface, some kind of cavity. It's big." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Caution, everyone. Keep digging, but stay alert. And Maya, don't get lost in the data." Maya barely heard her. She was already immersed in the sample analysis, her mind racing with the possibilities. What if the cavity below wasn't just a void? What if it was the key to the zircon's message? As the Martian sun dipped below the horizon, casting the landscape in deep shadow, Maya felt the weight of something unseen pressing against her. It wasn't fear, it was anticipation. The answers were close. She could feel it in her bones. The faint seismic tremors had unsettled the team, but curiosity outweighed caution. Under Commander Elena's guidance, the dig continued cautiously. Hours later, the robotic excavators broke through the dense crust, revealing an opening, a vast, underground cavern system hidden beneath Mars's surface. The team descended into the cave, their helmet lights slicing through the darkness. Maya was the first to step onto the cavern floor, her boots crunching against mineral-rich sediment. The walls glistened with crystalline formations, each one refracting their lights into brilliant, otherworldly hues. The air was eerily silent, the kind of silence that felt heavy and alive. "Look at these formations," Ravi said, awe in his voice. He pointed to column-like structures jutting from the ground. "These resemble hydrothermal chimneys. If this place was once submerged, it could have been an oasis for life." Maya knelt by one of the formations, her gloved hand brushing its surface. She activated a handheld scanner, and the readings were unmistakable, traces of organic compounds embedded in the minerals. "Hana," Maya called, her voice steady despite her excitement. "You're going to want to see this." Dr. Okabe joined her scanner confirming the presence of microbial remnants. "This could be the first direct evidence of Martian life," Hana said, her tone hushed. "Even if it's ancient, it's incredible." But as the team collected samples, something unexpected happened. Maya's zircon fragment, tucked securely in her gear, began to vibrate faintly. At first, she thought it was her imagination, but then the vibration grew stronger, accompanied by a low, rhythmic hum. "Do you hear that?" Maya asked, her voice rising. "Hear what?" Elena replied, her eyes scanning the cavern nervously. Maya pulled the zircon from her pouch. It was glowing faintly, pulsating with a resonance that echoed through the cave. The team froze, their eyes fixed on the fragment. "It's emitting sound," Ravi said, his face pale. The hum wasn't just a sound. It was structured, rhythmic, almost like a melody. Maya activated her recorder, capturing the pattern. She felt the vibrations in her chest, as if the zircon was reaching out, communicating. "Is it a message?" Hana asked, stepping closer. Maya didn't answer. She was transfixed, the hum resonating in her mind like a memory she couldn't quite grasp. Images flooded her thoughts: crimson waters, bioluminescent creatures, twin suns. The visions were vivid and overwhelming, pulling her into a reality that wasn't her own. Suddenly, the cave shuddered. Loose sediment rained down from the ceiling, and the hum grew louder, almost deafening. The zircon's glow intensified, casting an eerie light that danced across the cavern walls. "Everyone, back to the surface," Elena commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. Reluctantly, Maya tucked the zircon away and joined the retreat. As they ascended, the hum faded, leaving behind an uncanny silence. Back at the base camp, Maya analyzed the recording. The song wasn't random. Its frequencies and intervals suggested a complex structure, possibly even language. "What if it's not just a message?" Maya said aloud. "What if it's a warning?" Her words hung heavy in the air. The zircon's resonance wasn't just an echo of Mars' past. It was a bridge between worlds, carrying the weight of an ancient civilization's final breath. The question remained: what had silenced the Martian Song? Back at the Mars base, Maya and the team worked tirelessly to decode the zircon's mysterious song. Using advanced frequency analysis and linguistic algorithms, they uncovered a structure far too intricate to be natural. Each harmonic shift and rhythmic pulse held patterns reminiscent of mathematical constants and fractal geometry, hallmarks of intelligent design. "It's a record," Maya said, her voice trembling with wonder. "But not just any record. It's their story." The team huddled around as the zircon's data visualizations unfolded. The hums transformed into visual waves that revealed a timeline of Mars' ancient life. Scenes of lush landscapes with rivers coursing through valleys emerged, a stark contrast to the barren planet they stood on. Bioluminescent organisms swam in hydrothermal pools, their forms alien yet undeniably alive. But as the timeline progressed, the scenes darkened. The rivers dried, the atmosphere thinned, and the vibrant ecosystems withered into silence. The zircon's melody turned mournful, its frequency stretching into long, haunting notes. "It's an elegy," Ravi whispered, "a farewell." The final sequence left the team in stunned silence. A brief, fleeting flash of light. An artificial signal blazed across the screen. It was a desperate act, a beacon launched into space as Mars succumbed to desolation. The discovery left Maya restless. Even as the team celebrated the unprecedented find, she felt the weight of the Martians' legacy. These beings had lived, thrived, and vanished, leaving behind only whispers of their existence. And now their story was in her hands. As the mission concluded, the Aurora Prime began its journey back to Earth. Maya spent the voyage reflecting on what they had learned. The Martians' downfall was tied to the loss of their environment. A mirror, she realized, of humanity's own precarious relationship with Earth. Back home, the world was abuzz with the news. Governments and scientists hailed the mission as the greatest leap in understanding extraterrestrial life. Maya, however, had a different focus. She stood before an assembly of global leaders, holding the zircon fragment in her hand. "This isn't just a scientific discovery," she began. "It's a reminder of how fragile life is and how interconnected we all are across planets and time." Her words resonated deeply. The lessons of Mars ignited a new wave of environmental consciousness on Earth. Humanity, now aware of its role in preserving its own fragile biosphere, began taking bolder steps to combat climate change, protect ecosystems, and invest in sustainable technologies.